All right, story number three. Now, I was on the fence. I was like, man, am I going to really do a whole series of stories that are around the Super Bowl performance? But this is the biggest story. This is the biggest story right now. Not only just because of the Super Bowl itself, not just because of how Kendrick decided to approach the symbolism in this show, but because it is the culmination of almost a year-long Shakespearean shakedown. This is the Shakespearean shakedown. This is the end. I've been watching some of the Drake's posts. It does not look like he's handling this well. But I didn't want to do a story on Drake, and his Instagram posts. Drake needs to do something significant for me to really talk about him again this time. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got a lot of comments that I've been seeing coming out of his shows in Australia. And his minions, his Drake minions, and I'm not saying that as a slight. There's a population of Drake fans who describe themselves as minions. They're doing all they can to spin conversations and the narrative. And just like most of us have been talking about this show in one way or the other. The Wall Street Journal did a piece called The Making of Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl Halftime Show, where they actually talked to Dave Free. So as opposed to theories and people doing at-home detective work and dissection into what this performance means, here's an opportunity to hear what at least one of the people who created it had to say about it. I really like this story too, so let's just go through it. Would he play it? The question hovered over Super Bowl even after Kendrick Lamar had kicked off the halftime show. The rapper knew exactly what his audience wanted to hear, teasing snippets from Not Like Us, his most famous diss track from a nearly year-long public beef with fellow rapper Drake. Audience anticipation crescendoed toward a climactic, thundering performance of the Grammy-winning song featuring a dancing Serena Williams. We wanted this performance to have a cinematic and theatrical element to it, said Dave Free, director of creative agency PG Lang, which he co-founded with Lamar in an interview ahead of the show. We can confidently say there's no Super Bowl performance that's quite like this one. That's true. 1 second applause. And that comes with, I think the polarizing nature of the reactions is what comes with taking risks. It comes with improving on the design, doing something new. When you eschew the conventional and subvert expectations for one reason or another, you're going to have people who at the polls and how they feel about it. But chances are you're going to come away with, as Dave Free described, something, a unique Super Bowl performance that's unique. There isn't anything quite like it. A Pulitzer Prize winner, Lamar is the first rapper to headline a Super Bowl halftime show on his own, and his creative team wanted to make a statement with the historic performance. Free said the show was meant to evoke Black experience in America. Samuel L. Jackson, the legendary actor, introduced the show dressed as Uncle Sam, and dancers dressed in red, white, and blue formed an American flag in the middle of the field. Lamar's path to the Super Bowl stage began with a call from Jay-Z, Free said. As the NFL's live music entertainment strategist, Jay-Z plays perhaps the biggest role in deciding who performs at the halftime show. In 2022, Lamar was part of the halftime medley with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Eminem. They left 50 Cent off of this. 1 second applause. Performing hits All Right. Free said he wasn't sure Lamar would be asked to perform at the game again so soon, but it felt like the right time for us. Yeah, I mean, after that, after what he did in that battle, after that Shakespearean shakedown and the size of Not Like Us, along with the success of the pop-out, this was the right time. At least 1,000 people spent hundreds of hours working on the show, Free said, from crew members and production designers to people like choreographer Charm LaDonna, who oversaw 110 dancers, and head of wardrobe Carissa Sanchez. For inspiration, Free and Lamar watched every single Super Bowl halftime performance, drawing particular cues from Beyonce, Prince, and Michael Jackson's headline shows. The feel of it is Black America. What does Black America look like? And how to control that narrative of what it means to be Black in America versus what's the world's perspective of that is. That's what Dave Free said. Listen to that one more time. The feel of it is Black America. What does Black America look like? And how to control that narrative of what it means to be Black in America versus the world's perspective of that is. That's the thesis. That's the show. That message threaded through details like wardrobe and choreography. Sanchez said Lamar wanted nods to Los Angeles and street culture and less uniformity for background players. Everything has to be choreographed, even the unseen moments with camera. Choreographer LaDonna said, the performance is televised, but it's also for the people in the audience. So every moment matters and it has to be right. That is a real disconnect. I saw a clip of Casanat saying that the crowd was dead in the venue during this performance, and people really didn't make any noise, And then I saw Chillin' with Moni post a video clip of someone who was in the venue and it sounded lit. I watched Tyga react to Not Like Us. He looked confused. It was funny, but it sounded loud, So I think a lot of it just depends on what moments people are talking about. And the set list, again, wasn't his most popular songs. So, and I can imagine being in that venue and watching all the symbolism go around and trying to figure out what it means. To have an aerial view or a wide view of this show is a totally different experience. I think Whooping Feet, I'm not sure. I think they posted a video of the full performance from a fan's view, from a stadium view. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm gonna take a look at it. Maybe I'll put a link in the description if anybody's interested. But trying to figure out this show for the stage and also for TV must have been a really big challenge. The Super Bowl halftime show is no ordinary live show. Production designers had to consider factors such as protecting the stadium grass from sets and making sure the air quality wouldn't be advertently affected by special effects. To keep the weight of the sets light, designers used aluminum and steel frames. Our stages and scenic elements are all pushed into the stadium onto the field by almost 500 stagehands, said Bruce Rogers, a production designer. Lamar's performance marks Rogers' 19th Super Bowl halftime show, his first being 2007 when Prince headlined. Look at that. That's some Super Bowl shows to have bookmarked. You got Prince, and then you got Kendrick Lamar. And Prince co-signed Kendrick Lamar. 1 second applause. Every part of the set had to be assembled within 8 minutes. Rogers said, any more than that, and the crew would be eating into precious airtime. An hour before the first half of the game drew to an end, the stage hands pushing carts filled with equipment weighing about 3,000 pounds lined up outside the stadium. At the 2-minute warning, the crew began to haul the crates through the tunnels. As soon as the players clear the field, it turns into drill sergeants on megaphones, said Mike Carlson, co-creative director and production designer of Halftime Performance. Carson started working with Lamar in 2021. Designers were tasked not only with creating a dazzling display on the field, but also a show that could be taken in through dozens of strategic camera angles. Those watching at home may not see everything at once if the camera is close up on Lamar, Carson said. But on the flip side, those watching from high up seats in the stadium may not catch the more intimate details. You're kind of serving two masters because it's 60,000 people in there and that have paid top dollar and are expecting a spectacle and an experience. On the flip side, you have millions of people that are watching at home, so you're creating almost two shows. Free said the team wanted to feature songs that would make viewers curious to learn more about Lamar as an artist. It wasn't about playing the hits, Free said, and they did that. We talked about all the records that were broken, but this was, they said Kendrick Lamar is the most discovered artist in a minute at any given point in Apple Music history. Most discovered artist in 24 hours. It worked. It worked on every level. It worked on every level except for people who felt like the energy should have been higher and they didn't like the track list. Outside of that, it's kind of hard to poke holes in this. It's kind of difficult to do so. Except for one, of course. I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue, Lamar quipped during his set. In January, Drake filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group, his and Lamar's parent music label, calling Not Like Us defamatory. When he finally launched into Not Like Us, he led the crowd in a sing-along of its most famous verse, trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. 1 second applause. The finale sent the stadium into darkness, revealing the phrase "game over" written against the crowd in lights. There was still a half game to go, but in his own battle, Lamar had crowned himself the winner. 1 second applause to that. So that's some insight on it. I think that really does, lean into, it clarifies, right? Exactly what the goal was for Kendrick and Dave Free with this performance. We wanted to have this performance to have a cinematic and theatrical element to it. We can confidently say that there's no Super Bowl performance that's quite like this one. Free said the show was meant to evoke the Black experience in America. So that's 100% what the show was. I think the symbolism is the part of the reason that this show has so many legs to it, and why it continues to just do crazy virality. I mean, 42 million views on YouTube in 2 days is unheard of. It really is unheard of. So, but I thought this is a little piece of insight here as to what Dave Free and Kendrick were actually thinking when they put the show together is significant. And let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Let me know if there's anything else that you've learned about the show since the performance took place. I know in Wired magazine, they also said that was a real GNX. They gutted out a real GNX for the stage. And again, that they had to kill the pyrotechnics because of the Secret Service since Trump was in the building. Let me know what you think about all this. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel, follow the Company Man on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views that's radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog. You don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.